Its wings clipped at a second airport. Buffalo Niagara International Airport in New York nixing plans for a new location following backlash about the company's alleged ties to anti-LGBTQ organizations. Last month, San Antonio City Council voted to exclude Chick-fil-A from its airport. Texas is investigating whether the move was against the law. Chick-fil-A insists it has no political agenda and does not discriminate. So we asked if you think cities are taking it too far by banning Chick-fil-A. Jacob on Facebook writes, this is the 1% controlling the 99%. David on Facebook says Chick-fil-A absolutely has the freedom to support or not support the people and causes they believe in. These airports also have that right. And Kurt tweets, how about we ban all fast food at all airports? We all know their markups are so ridiculous that even loan sharks get embarrassed. Thanks to all who responded. Keep those comments coming.
All right, New York expected to become the second state to ban plastic bags. Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo says he'll approve the measure in his 2020 budget plan. Starting next year, customers will need to pay 5 cents if they want a single-use stick delivered. And finally, the ugly. This could be perfect for the Green New Deal. A Dutch inventor has come up with new cow toilets. He's currently testing the idea on a
Monday, April 1st, and we begin with a Fox News alert. President Trump says he may shut down the U.S.-Mexico border as soon as today.
And Mexico seems to show that they've got the message, but is their last-ditch effort enough to curb this migrant situation we have at our southern border? We're live in Washington.
Chicago police are protesting as tensions continue to simmer over the Jussie Smollett case.
And before he hits the streets, one of those officers joins us live with his message to the Cook County Prosecutor's Office. And this is not an April Fool's Day joke.
It's taken over the fashion world. Fox and Friends First continues right now. Okay. Glad we agree on that.
Merry Christmas. I'm Rob Schmidt.
And I'm Jillian Mealy. Thanks so much for starting your day with us. Let's get straight to this Fox News alert. Today, President Trump could shut down the U.S.-Mexico border as illegal immigrants surge into our country.
Griff Jenkins joins us live from Washington with more on the White House strategy and Mexico intending to help. Hey, Griff.
Hey, Rob and Jillian. Yeah, the president not bluffing, according to White House advisor Kellyanne Conway, who says President Trump is dead serious about closing the border.
It certainly isn't a bluff. You can take the president seriously, and here's why. You're giving those metrics. What he's looking at is that 4,000 migrants apprehended in one day recently. We're on track this month for close to 100,000. We have never seen a surge like this.
When it comes to the current numbers, according to BP officials last night, in just the Rio Grande Valley sector alone, for the past 9 straight days, they have seen more than 1,000 plus apprehensions per day. But closing the border could have a heavy economic impact. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce warning it could tank markets and endanger $1.7 billion of daily cross-border goods trade with Mexico. And some Democrats want to avoid that.
The idea of just using bluster and statements and we're going to close down the border, we're going to cut off the aid, that's not going to do anything. Let's work together, Democrats and Republicans. There are a lot of us who want to do it, to work together to actually address this problem once and for all.
This as the president is cutting aid to the tune of $500 million to El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. You see there, they're known as the Northern Triangle countries, where a majority of these migrants are coming from. And it's as Mexican officials say they plan to revamp their humanitarian visa program for approximately 2,500 migrants in southern Mexico on a limited basis starting today. That program was shut down earlier this year due to overwhelming numbers. It's going to happen down in Chiapas, where we have been and covered so many of the crossings. And it's also coming, guys, as CBP says that 40% of their agents are being diverted away from the actual border security mission to care for these overwhelming number of family units and unaccompanied children.
Yeah, it's a tremendous surge lately. Griff, thank you so much.
A well-known rapper is shot dead in broad daylight in Los Angeles. Grammy-nominated Nipsey Hussle was one of 3 people shot outside a clothing store, which he reportedly owned. The shooter is still on the run. 2 others were rushed to the hospital. The rapper claimed to be a gang member on his Facebook page. A young ISIS fighter is executed by the terror group after being accused of spying. The baby-faced jihadist known as Osama bin Bieber is believed to be the first British ISIS fighter killed by the extremists for spying. ISIS officials reportedly told British media he was put to death after revealing the location of a high-ranking ISIS official.
All right, electricity will be rationed for the next month in Venezuela. Disputed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announcing the planned power cuts to address the ongoing blackouts throughout that country. Maduro blames those outages on U.S.-led sabotage since President Trump supports the opposition leader there, Juan Guaido. Guaido says the crippling blackouts are the result of years of government neglect and corruption. The mess continues in Venezuela. Today, Chicago police officers will protest outside the prosecutor's office in Cook County in the wake of the Jussie Smollett case. The department demanding the FBI intervene following Cook County State Attorney Kim Foxx's decision to dismiss all 16 felony charges. The Empire actor is accused of faking a racist hate crime against himself in January. Reverend Jesse Jackson and others are planning a rally in support of Kim Foxx today.
The wife of former Defense Secretary Ash Carter setting the record straight about this 2015 picture of her and former Vice President Joe Biden. Stephanie Carter says the photo is misleading, writing, quote, "The Joe Biden in my picture is a close friend, helping someone get through a big day, for which I will always be grateful." It comes as a former Nevada Assemblywoman accuses Biden of inappropriately touching her during a rally back in 2014. That woman speaking out about the encounter.
I want him to acknowledge that it was wrong. Part of the reason why I decided to finally say something is because those behaviors were not being taken very seriously. They were not being considered from the perspective of the woman on the other side of that power dynamic.
Lucy Flores says Biden grabbed her shoulders, smelled her hair, and kissed the back of her head. Biden, a potential 2020 contender, released a statement saying he's offered countless expressions of affection in public life, saying, quote, "Never did I believe I acted inappropriately. If it is suggested I did so, I will listen respectfully."
So obviously the misconduct claims are against Joe Biden are posing a challenge to his 2020 prospects.
Kellyanne Conway says you wouldn't know that based on the way the media has been covering it. Listen to this.
Joe Biden's intent is only partly or maybe not at all relevant here. It's really how that woman felt. She feels that it was unwelcomed, and she's coming forward with it because she doesn't want, I suppose she doesn't want this man to continue advance in public life. Joe Biden this week was apologizing to Anita Hill for his role in the Clarence Thomas hearing. So
you're going to have plenty of time to go after him on other issues.
Why didn't he apologize to Lucy? Why didn't he apologize to this woman? Why didn't he do that? They never apologized to the individual. And I think the way the media covered everything from collusion to Kavanaugh to the Covington kids means they ought to be able to cover issues like this with the same kind of vigor.
All right, Biden's trouble is the latest in a recent string of misconduct claims against Democrats. Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax is still on the job after he was accused of sexual assault back in February.
It's a bit chillier here in the Northeast on this Monday. A little bit.
A little bit. But boy, what a weekend, huh? We had some nice weather on Saturday, Janice. You delivered, and we appreciate it.
And then what happened Sunday?
And then it rained and my parents in Indiana got a killer snowstorm.
A lot of snow, yes.
They were like, what is this?
Yep, and we still have snow across portions of the Great Lakes and parts of the Midwest. And then look, we have freeze advisories as far south as the Tennessee River Valley, where it is 37 in Memphis, it's 26 in Cincinnati, 26 in Chicago. Is spring happening? It will, but for now, we're still stuck in winter for at least a day. Okay, let's take a look at the radar. We do have a frontal boundary across the Gulf Coast we're going to watch, but look, we have snow across the panhandle of Texas. Still a little bit of snow moving into portions of Wisconsin and Illinois and the Great Lakes in towards the interior Northeast. We're watching this developing area of low pressure that could be a bigger event if it moves a little bit closer to shore. But right now, we think it's just going to kind of hug the shoreline. We could get a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of snow out of this, but thankfully it's not going to really affect much of the country, or at least the East Coast. We are going to be dealing with, however, some heavy rain across areas that have already been flooded over the last couple of weeks across Nebraska and Iowa and Wisconsin and Kansas. So we're going to watch for that. Unfortunately,
you said this was going to be a problem for weeks.
Are unreal out of the Plain States and the Midwest, unfortunately, of flooding.
All right. Yeah. Janice, thank you so much for staying on top of it.
Yep.
All right, cancer not taking this cowboy down. NFL Hall of Famer Michael Irvin getting a clean bill of health after undergoing tests.
The football superstar posting on Instagram, quote, "I spoke with Dr. St. John at UCLA Medical, and she has informed me that all tests have come back 100% clean."
Irvin was tested for throat cancer, which killed his father.
All right, let's talk about March Madness now, where shocking upsets set the stage for the Final Four.
If you're Duke, once he gives it up, face guard, and don't overhelp. Open look,
Oh, man, Michigan State getting a clutch three-pointer with under a minute left. The Spartans take down top overall seed Duke 68-67.
Great game. Another great one here. Auburn heading to their first ever Final Four. They beat Kentucky 77-71 in overtime. Fantastic basketball. The Tigers will take on Virginia. Michigan State will take on Texas Tech. The Final Four tips off on Saturday night. Fun time of the year.
Yes, it is.
Some good basketball. 10 minutes after the hour, the surge of migrants at our